Everybody, welcome back to the Everyman Guys. I'm Jim,
I'm Will.
and this is our Thursday episode that we are shooting on Tuesday.
Yes. Episode
Because
number 10.
We both put one up.
10.
10.
Technically 11.
10. So this episode, we are discussing the podcast so far and how we felt about it, the reactions we've had, and kind of letting you know where we're at and where we're going, and just other things. Yeah, anything that comes up. It's kind of been our thing.
Yeah, and also our biggest project to
we've
date
worked on
that we've
for 2 years.
ever worked on.
Yeah.
And again, like
Again, trying to talk into the mic.
you would think it would be like an hour and a half full feature film, but
It is not.
it was like we have to kind of like be real with ourselves that
Yeah.
it was like, which we've talked about because I remember there were several times where like
We've had the
I was
discussion.
kind of feeling like, oh my gosh, like we're doing all this work. Is this like, are we?
Oh yeah.
But
Yep.
it's like when your only opportunity to work on it is say after work for
Yeah.
about an hour. And then you only get to do that one day out of the week, or sometimes
And
2 days out of the week.
Only in like the summer months,
Yeah,
because the sun goes down so early. Like during the winter, we can't really shoot at all unless we get a Saturday.
yeah. I mean, there
Or
were
unless
points
we
where
shoot at
we
night.
took off like 3 months at a time,
Yeah.
and
It's also we kind of like we got busy and then we kind of dropped it for a little while and then we got picked it back up, and when we dropped it, we'd reshoot a ton of stuff. And
it was honestly like I remember like starting it. It wasn't something that we could see being like what it has become. And it was kind of like halfway through, like midway through shooting it, it kind of turned into something that was actually like really awesome for all of us. That was like turned into a whole project.
yeah, it's something that like, is it our best work? It's not really, because it's like a little bit piecemealed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was our best
It's
work.
not like the best reflection of us if we had like a full schedule and everything to work on it, but
Yeah.
it's the best we did at the time, and I think it's really cool. Like
It's
looking at it,
something
it's
like-
such a learning experience and so cool to work on. It was a ton of fun to work on.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And
We're gonna have Ian and Jake on, who were the absolute they were
Jeez.
they're the two actors in it,
yeah,
and they just never done anything like that before, never even was involved with video or anything, and they
Nothing.
just did it because they're my nephews.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys. And just like committed to it completely and
Yeah.
made it possible for you and I to do something that
we really
again, it
loved.
turned into like something we were extremely passionate about. And then I think it just became extremely overwhelming because we're like, oh my gosh, we're doing a feature film, but not really, because we
It was
only
a-
have a very limited amount of time to actually work on it. So
Yeah.
it was like,
Yep.
so it's like to keep perspective. But
Yeah. It's easy to sit there and be like, well, we could have done this and done that, but at the time, it just wasn't possible for certain
Yeah.
things. You know what I mean? We didn't have the right equipment for certain things. We didn't have the right
idea
locations.
on how to plan.
Yeah, we didn't have the right locations. It was some inopportune times. You know, some things went down with just filming in general that we were like, oh, well, this stuff out of our hands that we couldn't really deal with. That you
Yeah.
know, was like, okay, well, we can't really shoot right now. So
Yeah, and
it's a work in progress. We hope that our next
which we
one
did
is.
it, just edited it last night.
Yeah.
Which was amazing.
We're still in the
like-
process of editing it.
Like doing that, editing it again, which I know like we literally talked about last
Yeah.
night, but doing that again was like I guess like is revival
We've
of
had
that like feeling that it was like you don't like you hear all the time like enjoy the journey, not the destination. And
we're kind of enjoying
like-
the destination more than because it.
well, yeah, it's like the destination is reminding us of the journey that
Yeah.
was so enjoyable. And like there
Well,
wasn't
here's the
any
issue.
times that it was like
The issue.
this sucks.
The
like,
issue is this has kind of been a pattern for this short film, because it's been
Yeah.
like we started it and then we stopped for a while, and then we got really hyped about it again and started again, and then we stopped for a while, and then we got really hyped about it again
and
then
finished
we,
it.
and finished mostly.
But
we have some stuff to redo.
Two
things
things
to do.
2 things.
But it just was a never-ending struggle of, okay, when do we find time and when do we do it? And we have our lives outside of it, and it's not our job, so we have full-time jobs other than that. And I feel like we're trying to convince ourselves, and they're like, no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, it's like also another thing that, like, to say, if we're being real with ourselves, like, it was like when you're doing something that's that long, and it's not something that we say from the very beginning, we're like, this is how long it's going to be. And then we knew that and we understood it. It wasn't like that. So it kind of went from, oh, this would be fun, to like, holy cow, this is like a full size production.
Yeah.
And then like in the midst of that, we're like, oh, well, we did Wake Up Call, which is for that horror short contest.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, well, we also want to do this baseball short film.
Right.
And it's like hard to stay committed.
Here's our schedule is we want to do a baseball short film. We want to do another baseball mockumentary. We want to finish UR2, and we want to do a 2-time a week podcast.
Yeah.
And we work full-time jobs, and we have friends that we go out with on the weekends.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's a good problem to have.
it is, absolutely.
It's a good problem
because
to
we have the
have.
passion to do it, but it's just a lot to do, and it's a lot. We're over ambitious most times. I think.
Yeah.
We're
You are too. We were over ambitious for sure.
We were out of our depths almost immediately with UR2.
Just to be clear, UR2 is
Unremarkable too.
Unremarkable too. Written by
it's a kind of a joke on Magnificent Seven, the Unremarkable too.
But to bank off what you were saying,
it's
like,
hilarious, by the way, to us especially.
Yeah,
we hope it's hilarious.
It means so much to us,
Yeah.
because of like I know it's easy for me to say, like, they're my nephews, so it's
Right.
like, but like at this point, like, they're your nephews too.
Yeah,
but like it means so much to me because it was like obviously we were passionate about it,
right?
But like their passion towards it almost made it like we're like, oh,
Their
this is
excitement
awesome.
about it kept us going.
Exactly.
If they weren't that excited, if they weren't as excited about
100%.
it as they were, we would have dropped it a while ago.
Yeah.
And done something easier. Easier as in, less time consuming and a little bit easier. Like we would have shot in one location, kind of like Wake Up Call.
And
but
like
their drive to keep it going really kept us going to make sure that we finished it, because it was like important to them that they got it done. And it became even more important to us to get it done because they were so hyped about it and are so hyped about it.
And their like dedication and willingness to grow and learn as actors. It's funny to say as actors, but at this point they are like, they've dedicated 2 years, pretty consistent acting and doing sometimes 20 shots.
Yeah.
And like their persistence and their drive allowed you and I to allowed you to be the director, me to be the cinematographer, and that's all we had to focus on.
Yeah, and they let us do it. They let us direct them.
Yeah,
they let us
so willing to
shoot it, and they were so willing to just sit there and let us do it. And like I said, it's not going to blow anybody away. I don't think.
No, absolutely not.
But it's blown us away just by doing it, just because we've been like, this is awesome because we did it. Just
simply accomplishing it.
Yeah.
And like getting to the end.
And I'm not trying to underplay it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, but
it's nothing also, that's going to be entered in a film festival.
Yeah, you just got to be honest with what it is.
It's a passion project for us.
But we're going to do project with this baseball mockumentary that we're coming up and doing. It's going to be our
best work.
It's going to be our best work.
And
because we said that about the Wake Up Call, was that we didn't think it was going to win.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're entering it because we needed to get in that mindset of we need to keep getting better.
Yeah.
And next year, hopefully when it comes up, we already have, some people have already offered up ideas. We have.
There's actually announcing one soon.
Is he?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Jacob Owens actually is the one that hosted the horror show.
Yeah, yeah.
And he on Onset Pass, they actually just put up a post on Instagram just a couple days ago about.
I followed them too.
Well, they didn't really say too much about it. It was just like they actually said the prize, one of the prizes for the winner of their next contest. But yeah,
nice.
But what I was gonna say to keep going on Unremarkable too is like number one, the best thing I think for us and Ian and Jake was honestly just how much we learned, mostly what not to do,
right,
and how to improve in, like, say, very specific areas of creating a film. And like number one was just planning. Like planning, I think, screwed us over more than anything.
Yeah.
Because there's literally a time when we needed one very important prop. It was literally what the story was based around. And never even got it because it was just, we didn't have any.
We always felt so rushed. Plan.
Well, not even, rushed, I think is
rushed, because we didn't have a plan and we were rushing because we felt like, okay, we need to get every little bit of sunlight we can to make sure that we do it, because if the sun goes down even a tiny bit beyond what we need it to, we're screwed and we need to find another day to shoot. And it was so hard to find days to shoot because, people are at school, we have work, there's sports going on, there's, it's summer. So
church Wednesday night. So that eliminates
Sunday,
a whole day.
So it's like, okay, well, it's so hard. And we're like, we can plan it out, but we got to get done. So it was like rushing without a plan. So we were already 2 steps behind. If we had a plan and we were rushing, it probably would have gone better. If we weren't rushing and had no plan, it probably would have gone better. But it just rushing and no plan, it was never going to work.
Yeah, and there was like, we didn't, and that's like, I would say number one.
Yeah.
Number one thing that we learned was that, like, say this baseball mockumentary that we're doing, like there's going to be table reads. Like we want it to be something that when we are done, we want it to be something that we wouldn't feel inferior with entering it in a film festival.
Yeah.
Like we want it to be something that, like, yes, it is. It's not something, we don't have a budget.
Right.
No budget. We're just filming when we have time. But like, I don't know. It's just, if we're going to do it, like say, just looking at UR2, like we spent 2 years of our life, not consistently every day, but I just mean it went on for that long.
Yeah. How
much better would that have felt if it was 2 years of well thought out, well planned filming? We would have had like a 4-hour documentary if it was.
We hope.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, just the planning is number one. Everything else, like the story, that's something you're passionate about. So you're automatically going to give it the best you have.
Yeah.
And filming is something I'm passionate about. I'm going to give it the best I have. But planning is something you have to, is almost like a sacrifice, and like, no, we have to do this. Otherwise, because it's going to take it from good to great.
Yeah. It's kind of like editing. You don't really have to do it, but you have to do it. So you have to just know that you're doing it and devote the time to do it. Same with planning. It's not as flashy as going out there and filming and being, doing all the stuff and directing, but it's, it's what you have to do to be able to do it. To be able to direct and to be able to write and to be able to do all that stuff, you have to be able to plan it out and know what you're doing. And not be surprised at the end, be like, wow, I did not expect this to go here.
And those hours and hours of planning make that 5 minutes where you just nail everything so much more satisfying, because it was like, that's exactly what we expected to happen.
Right. Exactly.
Like there's too many surprises of like,
there's
oh my gosh, that worked out.
Filming and going, dude, what if we did this?
What if we did this?
And it's like,
exactly.
Yeah, that's great, but why didn't we think of this before? And we didn't think of this before because we didn't plan it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad feeling, obviously.
No, it's great.
You shouldn't have too much of that.
If you're talking beforehand, you should already have those things pretty much nailed down.
If we're reading our lines the day of shooting for the first time,
which is mostly what happened,
and that's our fault, because like that's something that we need to be getting together and being like, yeah, this is
absolutely.
This is what we're gonna do. Not like, well, we'll see what happens. I mean,
I would send it to them like 2 days before and be like, if you have a chance, read this.
yeah.
And I wouldn't be there to read it, and they'd be like, well, we have you know what I mean? And we'd have to text about it if they had questions, but it just got to the point where it's easier just to ask me when we were shooting, so we would be setting up and they'd be rehearsing their lines because we weren't prepared.
Yeah. And,
we weren't prepared.
And like even just like blocking, for those of you that don't know what it is, it's essentially
know what it was until Will brought it up. And every day brought it up.
It's one of the best things in the entire world.
Yeah.
And what it is say you have a scene and you have, let's just say, character 1 needs to run over, pick up the basketball, throw it into the other room. So as the cinematographer and as the director, what you're going to do is you're going to have that character 1 run through his entire scene and then watch it from a couple different angles and kind of block it and figure out what your angles are going to be, how you're going to cut from one scene to how many shots you need.
Yeah.
And like, so anyway, yeah, that's what blocking is. But us starting to do that is, I think that's one thing that I'm okay with not planning, because after doing, say, however much research on it and hearing professional cinematographers, professional directors rave about it, it's like, I understand that that's something that we can't really plan out too much, but if you have the scene planned out at least, then you already kind of are blocking it in your head before you go to do it. But
honestly, I think the biggest thing that we're learning right now is that we have to do smaller projects, shorter projects that we can shoot in a week or two, write in a month, and be done with in 2 months.
Yeah.
Because until we're like doing this full time, doing like a more than 15 to 20 minute thing, it gets really hectic and really hard to do, because it's a lot to do. And we always have to be together to do it, because we are, it's both of our visions, editing, directing, writing,
it's got
all
all
this
come
stuff.
together.
So it's like, it's hard to always, you know what I mean? Like this week, I'm going to be at your house every day this week, pretty much.
Yeah.
Besides Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, not that I mind, but I'd like to be home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
it is a sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice, but it's what we have to do to get it done. So that's kind of what I mean, is like, we don't want to always be until like, again, we work every day, Monday to Friday, 8 hours. And, you'd like to be done working by the end of the day, but, we're doing this, so we have to be on it. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah. And
we have to pace ourselves a little bit better, I think.
It's
we get
also
super burnt out, I think also. I feel that way.
Well, I think it's burnout, and I think it's also, oops. My bad. I just knocked the recorder off the table. We're still good.
We're good.
I think it's burnout, but I think it's like, how I view it is perspective as to what it is. And what I think it is like, we don't view it as like, say, work. Like, you don't really have a choice. You go to work, so that is what you do. That is your job.
Right.
But sometimes it can definitely feel like, yeah, we're passionate about this and we want this to get done, but it's the same as anything that you're like, oh, well, we could do this. That would be really cool, but probably never will.
Right.
It's that same, but that's just that in action. Like, we're in the middle of this, and like, really, we could have committed to UR2 and got it done in probably 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, start to finish. But it was just like, there's definitely times, and like, I'm not afraid to admit, where it was just like, I just don't feel like it. And I think it's because, again, it was like, we don't have a timeline. We don't have a scheduled date that it's coming out. We don't have anything that's like, yeah, this is your job.
Right.
So like, when you're doing a passion project, and like, it wasn't really a passion project from the start. It was like, hey, this would be cool.
So we're kind of running on purely passion.
Well, not only that, but I think it's like that, and also, like, say our horror short for the contest. That was no problem.
Yeah.
We knocked that out, no problem.
Yeah.
And I think that was because it was like, well, it has to be done now, or you're not in the contest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like we had our parameters and we did what needed to
But
be
even
done.
that, we had to reshoot the
complete it.
whole thing
Yeah, and we did it in like 3 days.
because it was all in one location.
Yeah.
And it was like, so that was kind of the thing. That's kind of the thing. It was a mix of things, a mixed bag. But since starting this podcast, we've realized just how much, we can do. I don't know where I was going with this point, but
you realize how much we can do if we just do it.
If we just do it. Yeah, exactly.
Because like the want to is not the problem.
No.
Like we both,
not at all.
if we both had it, like I would say our dream. I mean, we've talked about this.
Creating content.
To be creating content on
As our
YouTube,
job.
that is something that we can just do and earn a living.
Yeah.
And like that's something we're both passionate about. That's something we're both like, well, of course, that's what we want to do, but it's like it's hard work. It's hard work that you have to put into it. And and it's like, you get home after an 8-hour work day, sometimes more, and it's like it is it's the easiest thing ever to just not bring it up, not say anything, and then the next day comes, it's the same deal, and then the next thing you know, it's 2 months later, and oh well, should we get back into this? Yeah, probably should.
Yeah,
and it's like I think the passion needs to be there from the very beginning,
definitely,
and it'll stick with us all the way through.
Yeah, definitely. I think we got to pick our projects a little better.
Yeah, pick something that we're actually genuinely
go through a bunch
passionate
of ideas
about.
and figure out what we really, really want to do, and then just do it.
That's why I'm excited for this baseball mockumentary.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's something that you're
and this one we also
passionate
made
about.
this the idea, as I kind of did it with when we first decided to do the first one. I said about waiting to do the main one, do a short one, and then do a main one, because what has happened is what I said would probably happen, is we're going to hit the cold months. You're not going to have as much daylight. You're not going to have as many days to do it. You're not going to have Saturdays to do it. So we got to wait for like a spring, like spring weather. So like in the next few weeks, then we can actually devote all the time to it. Do it on a Saturday. Do it, you know what I mean? And it's not freezing cold.
Yeah.
It's not, and we can just knock it out. That, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's something that we also have to remember. Be conscious of what you're going into, because like come September, we try to start a new project. You know what I mean? Like kids get back in school, or well, I guess Ian will be out of school, but like he'll be working, or like, we have the shore. So a lot of times people go on vacations during, so it's like you got to plan and make sure that you're not getting something started directly when you shouldn't. You know what I mean? Directly when everything that could go, could happen is going to happen, when you're going to lose all your actors and you're going to have no time to do it.
You just have to be realistic with. We have to be realistic with
timetables, schedules, people,
and like that. I think that all kind of though stems from doing what you're passionate about. Because if you are, then the scheduling, the stick-to-itiveness is going to just come naturally, because that's like you want to do it. You're passionate about it. It's something that you really want to do.
Definitely.
But like this year, I really, really want to focus on our films. I want to have an actual portfolio of short films that is like, this is our work. Yeah. Because currently we have one. Yeah. And it seems ridiculous because we've been doing it for
3-4 years.
Yeah. And it's like we made projects
we have projects that are just for us.
Just for us that we just did just because we wanted to. But I don't know, we're gonna finish UR2 soon, and the baseball short's coming up, and I don't know. It's just it's really exciting, but it's not just all it's fun all the time.
Yeah.
And there's no stress. I don't think there's no
a little bit of stress.
Is there?
A little bit.
Because it's not like we have any. Because I think if we had pressure, we would be done it.
Yeah, I think there's just a stress and pressure from myself that you give yourself. You know what I mean? You're like, all right, well, you haven't finished it, so why haven't you finished it?
Or it's not good enough, or oh, you should have done this here.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can understand that. But
yeah, that's where we're at with UR2 and our filming projects, pretty much.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
And we'll be releasing it. The only question is where we will be releasing it. Not really sure yet.
I'm not sure. We don't know if it'll go to YouTube directly first or
Yeah. Or if we're releasing it on what we're doing.
yeah.
But
Most likely on YouTube though.
yeah.
Most likely.
So yeah, that's where we're at with our films.
Yeah.
I guess we should talk about our podcast. This is episode 10, which is kind of
our podcast episode.
Kind of a milestone for us. It is. It's like
it does not feel like it's been 10 episodes.
I'm happy. I'm very, very, very happy.
Same.
And here's why. Because literally we were down the shore, Ocean City, and we're standing outside a store waiting for Paula and Noam.
Yep.
And we're like, I asked you about, because you were going to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And I asked you like about like, I don't know, just like general thoughts on it and like how it was going, why it didn't really pan out. And next thing you know, we're talking about, oh, we could do one.
Yeah.
We could talk about our films, and we didn't really have, I mean,
we sat down here to do it, and that's when we came up with the name and the idea. And it is very different. It is very different from the first episode till now.
We shot with lav mics the first episode.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we're only 10 episodes in, but that's
still very different.
That's over 11 hours of podcasting that we've done. And I'm just very extremely thankful that it's worked out to this point. Like I feel like I like we're not going to run out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we don't have an abundance of viewers or like, you know what I mean? It's not like a huge following yet, but I just think I haven't even looked really and cared that much. I know love doing it. So like,
I know.
We appreciate the comments that we do get. We appreciate the people who reach out 100%. And thank you for your suggestions, all that. And we're really enjoying it. And hopefully it, takes off and goes somewhere awesome. But even if it doesn't, we're cool doing it. I still love doing it. So I don't think that I'll ever want to stop doing it.
I view it as like thankfully, one of our biggest accomplishments because it's not, I mean, we're sitting here shooting for an hour plus most times.
Most times, yeah.
And now twice a week. And like we've talked about so many things.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it'd be cool if we did this, or it'd be cool if we did this, and never end up doing anything about it.
Right.
And it's like we talked about this podcast for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I brought up to you a few times throughout the years about doing a podcast. I brought it up to you and Trev, and we've thrown the idea around, but we always said we didn't really have enough to talk about. But like, really, it's not really. We have tons. You know what I mean? I think we just were limiting ourselves. But like, that's something that is crazy. Is the last 3 or 4 years we went from never really being on camera to shooting other people, and now we are on camera 2 hours a week.
Yeah.
2 hours plus a week, every week. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's also just cool to have like almost like an outlet to say, talk about whatever we want to at the time. And like, I love that we went the route of just talking about whatever we want to talk about at that time.
Yeah,
and
not
like,
limiting ourselves.
It's kind of centered around, say, filming and like our projects that we have going on.
I mean, we haven't talked about filming.
We've only done it like twice, but that was the original plan. We were like, oh, we'll talk about
but that's so
films,
limited.
But it is
so
absolutely.
Limited. I'm glad that like the Everyman guys started with the idea. Well, what should we call it? And we wanted to call it something along the lines of what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't want to be limited by, the film guys. Then people are like, well, they're film guys, so I'm not going to, like, I just want people to come and listen, hang out with us. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the way I wanted it to feel like. I hope it comes off that way. We're working towards it. I'm talking into my mic. I feel better. Certain person I'm looking at right now who made a suggestion. I appreciate the suggestion. I'm just messing with you. But you know who you are. But Yeah, like I think that's one of the things that I really wanted was people to feel like, oh, I'm just listening to a podcast and hoping like gaining something from it, but also just being like, hey, like
Yeah.
hanging out.
Yeah, that's kind of what I
And
imagined too.
yeah.
Especially once we landed on the Everyman Guys, where it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
what we had the Everyman Guys and Oh My Podcast.
yeah, my podcast.
Yeah, we could have gone a very different direction.
Yeah.
But I've loved every second of it, and it's been really great.
And it's been also like cool to like say one just got a new light, so now we got 2 lights, and then we have some headlights up here, and it's like
we can make
fun.
cool vibrations.
It's fun. Like getting like it's like our set, so it's like it's like we're just improving it little bit by little bit, and every little bit just does so much. And at some point get a sign for back here. That's the plan.
Get a logo, get everything going. Again, it's the same thing. We're working at it and we're doing it as much as we can while we have free time to do it. And we're getting closer on our new equipment.
Yeah.
We're getting closer on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I apologize that it's not out yet, but it's a lot of work to get it, and it's some confusing stuff to get it on there. I'm still working on it. I still need, we gotta send files back and forth, and files are huge. You know what I mean? So we're still working out the finer details of getting everything done, but we're doing it and we're putting it out there, and I think that's the best we can do right now, and be happy that we're doing that.
Yeah, and it's like we have to have perspective again that it's like it's not all going to happen at once,
right? And
the good thing is we can release an episode without video because in all reality, it is a podcast. But like I'm saying, like that's how unlimited we are.
Yeah.
That even worst case scenario, something happened to the video file, and what do we do?
Right.
Oh, well, we still release the episode.
Right.
So it's like there's nothing, thankfully, holding us back
from just barring
one of us can't be there.
Right.
But like it's.
But even when we couldn't
limiting.
be there last week, we still got an episode shot for Thursday, and we stayed up Friday night till like 2 in the morning to get an episode out, which is coming out, which would have come out Tuesday, the night we were shooting this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pointing at myself, but like that's something that, again, we devoted the time to do it, and that's why we're doing it, is because we love to do it. So that's just kind of how we're doing it.
I actually started uploading it on the YouTube.
I was gonna say, are you just done now?
I'm just done.
Or we're just gonna check.
I'm actually just checking the status of said episode 9, which it is currently uploaded. So really, we could share it. So we might actually share episode 9 live on the podcast.
Live on the podcast.
Should we do it?
Technically live, but
I gotta edit I still gotta edit the thumbnail, but that's it's good. It's a little bit late for this Tuesday release, so
but we were also late last week on Fridays. So.
And it all was kind of like it's funny because
again, if this is our job and we're getting paid to do this, you bet your bottom dollar we'd be here every day.
It's funny because like there's always something, right? Like with everything that you do or that you're involved with, there's always something. And it was like last week it was like, oh, we're changing our phone plan, so it's like that we were unexpectedly late and whatever.
I wasn't feeling good, so we didn't really get a chance to do
it.
And
for last Tuesday's episode that you would have already seen at this point, it was like something happened with my Dropbox where I thought I would be able to access it away from my computer. What do you know? You can't for some reason one time. So that caused the upload to be a little later. But again, you're still getting the episode. You're still getting 2 episodes every week, and it's a work in progress. And in every single episode, we're learning and we're growing, and it's exciting. Looking forward to see what it can become. Like we had talked about this turning into more than a podcast, which 100% can see happening.
Yeah, definitely. And it's something that we I think the last 2 episodes before this were like the funnest 2 episodes.
Yeah.
The Olympic one and the
Would You
Rather one really were fun. So like if you have more fun suggestions,
Even playing
Give us-
Would You Rather again, I am totally on
Yeah,
board for that. That
same.
was so fun.
Same. We'll try to spread it out and make it like a thing. Like every few episodes, we'll do a Would You Rather episode. But I think that right now we're in a good spot to where, you know, we've kind of interacted with you guys a little bit, and we've consistently put out content. And since episode 4, we've done 2 episodes a week.
Yeah, I think so.
We did 6 and 7 together, 8 and 9. Now 10 and 11 will be together.
I believe so.
Or this is
We'll be
this
filming.
Is 10.
We'll be filming episode 11 this coming Thursday.
So 9 will come out today, and 10 will be out
9 would have come out
today.
last Tuesday, and then 10 will come out
Thursday.
today, the day that you're listening to this.
No.
Yeah, this episode.
Oh, that's right.
Thursday.
Right. Yep. Time is weird.
And
so then 11 and 12
Yeah.
will be next week, and that's it. That we've consistently done that. So I feel like we've done, and we're only getting better. We're only getting more equipped to do it, and it's going to be awesome. And we hope that you all come along and keep watching, and keep commenting, and keep liking, and keep subscribing, and keep pushing and pushing and
keep
sharing.
keeping.
Keeping it up. Keep the keeping kept.
Another thing, which we had just talked about, was like interaction with them,
With the fans.
with you guys.
Y'all.
That we would like to do more of.
Yeah. How would you like to be reached out to?
Well, not only that, but like
okay.
I think
This is
there needs
episode
to
10.
be more. Yeah,
This is episode 10. So I would say let us know of the 10 episodes, which ones are your favorite. Let us kind of know why. And that way we can know like what you're looking for from us.
for more of. Yeah,
So that we're not just talking here and like blah, 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 blah. And like people are like, well, I enjoyed the other conversations better. So let us know what we can do to like, and if you've loved them all and we've been perfect, then which is probably what is happening, then don't say anything at all. But you know, but yeah, like we community engagement.
I
we
wanted
wanna
that.
up.
See, that's why I loved doing the poll
Yeah,
on Instagram, because pretty much every single one of you guys, if you are following us on Instagram,
yeah,
pretty much every single one of you guys gave your opinion and were like this, because we gave you 4 options of what you wanted.
Would
to
you
hear.
rather won wildly?
Yeah.
By a lot.
So
like
that's
is that
I
really
think
is that what you really want?
personally, that's what I would like to do more of, just
Yeah.
to kind of like include them and be, because
We're the
getting-
everyman guys.
getting ideas that we know that they're looking forward to hearing
yes.
was like doing Would You Rather. One I knew was going to be fun because it's a game style
Yeah.
episode, which I love. I'm even open to playing more games and
Yeah.
doing more like game style.
And eventually, we would like to be able to announce what we're doing a week ahead of time.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Hey, tune in
and
this
be more
episode.
active on Instagram.
Definitely. We talked about it, but again, the time is like, you know what I
It
mean?
all comes back to hard
it's-
work
Yeah, and time
putting in
time
that-
management and all that
The
stuff.
effort
so,
to get it done.
yeah, so it's a process, but we'd love to hear from you guys more often, and we'd like to engage more with you on that front on, hey, this is coming this week, and hey, what can we do in the next few weeks, and what shows are you looking for, and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of you have already given suggestions. We're trying to keep it to where it's something that we're interested in, because we don't want to come on and be talking about something that we know nothing about, because like who wants to listen
we're
to
well versed in.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna try new things and try other things, but like there are some things that we might just not know that much about or know too in depth about it, and not sure we can carry that for an hour-long episode. So that's that's a lot to consider, and that's a lot to take in. So
Yeah, that's something that we can definitely improve on.
Yeah.
Just being more, just engaging more.
I think really where we're at, and you guys can tell, again, you can say if we're wrong, I think where we really thrive is when we can go on tangents. I mean, last episode literally was just tangents.
Yeah,
One
we had
big
no
one.
plan
No
before
plan.
we started
so,
that episode.
So that's kind of what we do best, I think, is just kind of go down a rabbit hole and just keep going and going and going. So that's kind of what we're looking for from you guys, is tell us what you want. Tell us what you like to hear.
Majorly off topic, but speaking of going down a rabbit hole, are you looking forward to summer
Yes.
and spring?
Yes.
Do you feel as if we like literally didn't even have a winter?
Yes.
It's the worst thing ever because I literally was
For
just
you.
thinking about it today.
Yeah.
Well, I love the winter
Yeah.
and the fall,
I love the fall.
which I know
don't
you
love
like the
winter.
fall, but and it was just there's maybe 5 cold days where it was like, hey, this is winter.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's probably been more than that, but I don't know. It's just like all of a sudden, maybe it's time flying just in general, because it is almost March,
It is, yeah.
and I know
am
that's
an
not
old,
like a
old man when
whatever.
it comes to winter. I hate snow. In the city, if we go out, go up the mountain, snow's cool. In the city, snow sucks.
If you don't got places to be,
There's no reason for snow in the city.
it's just not necessary.
It's not necessary.
I like it, but I
Yeah.
hate the driving in it. Obviously,
I just hate how it lingers.
you don't love it. You love the idea of it.
Yeah. I think that's
what I
the
think
thing.
it is.
I like to look at it while it's falling. Like again, I'm old when it comes. Like I'm just like, it looks pretty when it's falling, but you know what I mean. Like I just stop.
It's just like
if it would just snow at like the parks. And just that's where it snowed, and that's only where it snowed.
You can
That'd
go
be
see
great.
it where you want to see it.
Exactly. It's like the zoo. Do you like going to the zoo and seeing the tigers? Yeah, but if they were in your living room or on the street when you walked outside, you would hate it.
Yeah,
you
that's
like
exactly the same thing.
It's the exact same thing, and I stand by my analogy.
The only thing that's like kind of like is the fact that like I just sweat profusely in the summer, and it's like I feel like we just got out of that.
Yeah,
and
I'm not
I
ready
love
for
the idea
80s.
of getting to wear pants and a hoodie and going out and being comfortable. And it's just like all of a sudden we're right back in it. But again, I think it's just time is just flying. It's like
really what it
double
is
time.
Spring and summer brings baseball and brings the Phillies back, and that's really.
And I do genuinely enjoy the spring and the summer, but it's like hard to. It's like what do you enjoy more? Like the being just hot all the time because my body runs very hot,
same.
or being
That's
comfortable and you
part.
can't really do as much because it's like, oh, it's dark.
I say right now, I talk all this game about being excited for summer and spring, but then the second that I see a bee or flies get all on my face or mosquitoes, then I'm like, I hate summer.
Well, it's even better than that.
I think that's something that we all have to kind of just learn, is because in the middle of summer we all go, oh, I can't wait for winter, and then winter comes, it's like, oh, I can't wait for summer. It's like, just be content with where you are. And know that fall will be here soon.
Yeah,
that's my idea. That's
way sooner than you want it to be because time is flying.
If fall was all year round, that would be perfect. But I'm trying to be as cool with where I am at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to try and be like, oh, I love winter, I love spring. Just be okay with where you're at.
Yeah, and I know last year I definitely had a much better mindset with
right
summer because I was just like, it's gonna be hot, so that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah,
and it's like I don't know. I feel like you have to just say that.
Yeah, in
the summer because it's different than winter. Like just dress warmer. Right. And I know some people are just cold no matter what, but I don't know. I just feel like
say they're cold
with summer, it's just like you gotta just accept it. Like some people, the hot doesn't bother them. They don't sweat a lot or whatever. But
the heat, it almost instantly is a factor in my mindset, especially going out.
The worst part is like you get out of the shower and then guess what? You need to get back in the shower.
Yeah,
and it's like I'll get really dressed up to go out to wherever, and then you get outside and
you almost need to take like 4 shirts.
That big sweat mark on your back is like, hey I'm just gonna be here all night.
I'm just gonna stay here,
and then that's kind of like your entire night,
pretty much,
until you make it inside somewhere, and then
especially like for me, like I'm very subconscious about,
sweating
and making sure that I don't smell. So like, I'm always like, oh my gosh, I'm sweating, and me thinking about me sweating makes me sweat even more.
Yeah.
And also, I'd like to know how we got onto sweating.
How we even got on the weather, I don't know, but I was just thinking about it because
you just said
today
off topic.
Yeah, today was like in
warm.
60s.
That's kind of where we're at with the podcast. We sweat.
This will be our last episode. But yeah, I think it's okay. We're gonna just kind of come full circle back to not full circle, but like half.
Kind of love a line.
Like a line and then
line.
a small circle to
kind of like just a bend
to interacting with you guys.
And then
I would like to what's the word? Suggest that we do another poll.
Yeah.
And that will decide
our
next episode that you will see on
because there's
Tuesday.
only a day between now and Thursday. It's weird. Like it feels like forever till we get record on Tuesday, and then it's like Tuesday and then Wednesday and we go to church and then Thursday and we're
it's like you leave and then I'm like, oh well, I got time to edit, and then it's like no, I need to have it uploaded and ready to post by this time, and it's it's
the times of things.
But yeah, this is like it's good to have this kind of episode because it's like this is number 10. It's a milestone for sure, a very small milestone, but
a milestone nonetheless.
Yes. Exactly.
We've already recorded more of the podcast than we have of UR2.
And that's absolute truth. Yeah. And anything that we've done, all combined, I would say. Mm-hmm. And it's just super, super exciting seeing it progress.
Yep, and seeing people like it and seeing,
So yeah, this will be a little bit shorter episode for this time, but
compared
again,
to our
you're
other
getting
ones,
2 episodes a week, so
yeah, we can live with some shorter episodes.
We can live with this shorter episode.
Yep.
But the only thing that I would like to leave them with, can you guess what it is? Thank you for watching episode 10, and we'll catch you in the next one.
I'm prepared for the high five.
That was decent.
And it's always out of frame.